Podcast. I'm your host, Ali Gary. At the Deep Rough Podcast, we discuss all things golf, so let's get right into it. Today's topic is the PGA Tour is ready to coexist with the Live Tour. And I find it very interesting that the PGA Tour is ready to have these talks to coexist and see how they could work together. And I find it interesting that after the Live Tour's first season and the astronomical amounts of money that a lot of the marginal tour players have made, not to mention the Dustin Johnsons of the world, it's obviously a lot of money in golf. And golf is a lot more lucrative than we probably ever could have imagined. And the Live Tour has kind of pulled the covers off of that. And it blows my mind that the PGA Tour was so adamant about not working with the Live Golf Tour. And the Live Golf Tour was this terrible group of people that were involved in human rights violations and everything else that you could possibly think of. But now that the situation is unfolding and it's trending more towards Live, in my personal opinion, than it is the PGA Tour, now everyone's ready to sit down. And that just goes to show you the power of the dollar. Before, when these people were leaving the tour, the players were leaving the tour, it was the worst thing in the world. They were greedy, all they wanted was money, and it was ruining the game. But obviously, the Live Tour has shown that these guys can be paid what they're worth in the open market and still produce a great product. I think the PGA Tour has really recognized the way that the golf world is trending. I think the PGA Tour realizes now that the golf world is much bigger than the PGA Tour. I think the PGA Tour has been handcuffed by the blue blood ideologies as far as what golf is supposed to be and how it's supposed to look and who's supposed to be included and excluded. And to their detriment, they've held on to these ideologies for way too long. They're outdated and it's not a representation of how the world works today. And Live has taken advantage of that opportunity to really create some new roads in the way of golf and in the world of golf and how it goes in the future. To me, the PGA deciding to talk about coexisting with the Live Golf Tour is the ultimate resignation to defeat, especially when you understand how vehemently they were against it. And Rory McIlroy, of all people, who explained how this is ruining the game, it's tearing the game apart. The only thing that was torn apart was his heart when he realized how much money these guys made and how much money he left on the table. And the fact that the PGA Tour could not prevent these guys from getting this money or stifle their progress in any kind of way. Because I believe that a lot of the players were under the understanding that the PGA Tour had all these different lawsuits and different ways to prevent this from happening, and they haven't worked. So now the PGA Tour players are probably feeling left out as far as the money that they could have made joining the tour versus what they were told or how they were told they would be protected from, this tour going off and doing these things. So I could imagine people like Dustin Johnson feels like he made the right move at this point. I could imagine Phil Mickelson feels vindicated from the things that were said about him and the decisions that he's made. And I can imagine the people like Rory McIlroy and JT Justin Thomas of the world, those guys, and even the Tiger Woods feel as if they were cheated in a way. This was not supposed to happen. We were totally against it, and there's no way this is going to happen. They're not going to succeed. And now all of a sudden, it talks about, hey, can we be friends? I'll tell you what, when you get into a fight, the first person that says, hey, let's be friends, that's the guy who lost, in my personal opinion. And I don't see this getting any better for the PGA Tour unless they come to some kind of alliance with the Live Golf Tour. I'm really interested to know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.